brothers. It's all about sex. Immediately, the ones who are outraged by that idea are going to leave. For the rest of you who want some real talk, let's go on. I was dating a beautiful woman. I was extremely turned on by her. I ended up giving up my nut for her. She got pregnant. I freaked out. I cheated on her. She broke up with me. I was devastated. I started diving deep into retention. Not just the physical retention, but retention of the mind. I started giving up lust for the first time in my life. I started discovering true inner power. After some time of doing this, she became magnetized back into my life, which I didn't think was going to happen. It was a complete turnaround of fate. And it happened because I did something radical. I made changes on a soul level, and she came back. I married her before she gave birth to my son. He was born 5 months ago, almost. During that whole time of her giving birth, the period after, her hormones completely gone, completely shifted into milk production mode, caring for the baby mode. Interest in sex dropped down to 0. I don't know if you've ever lived with a woman while you're retaining, but it is kind of like all the normal tests of retaining amplified 10 times. Because now you are surrounded every day by a woman you love, a woman you've seen naked countless times, a woman who you've had sex with many, many times. And your testosterone is peaking. Your libido is absolutely peaking. And here's this fine-ass woman within your reach, the ring of power within your reach. But you can't take it because she's with the baby. Let me tell you, fellas, it's been an interesting journey. And I've been quite absent from the channel for many months now, establishing my own home, getting my own home in order, doing more inner work. I thought the inner work was leading up to marriage, but it's only gotten deeper since putting a ring on her. But let me tell you this. You will not enter the gates of heaven without a woman. For the guys of you who don't want to hear this message, just go. Because I'm going to continue speaking this message. We are fundamentally designed to bond with our female counterpart. It is in our DNA, spiritually, not just physically. Retention is not about tapping into your creative genius so you can invent shit and make things more efficient, make the world a better place on the external level, save people, be this altruist. It's not so you can come up with creative artworks and musical masterpieces and things of that nature. It's not so you can become a Michelangelo or a Da Vinci or an Elon Musk. All of that stuff is on the external level. It's all Maya. The real reason that we are here on the physical plane is so that we can experience what it's like to be separated from God, so to speak. So that we can have a simulated experience of separation. Because our true nature is God. That's where we come from. That's what we are. But we've come to this plane so that we can have a taste of death. So that we can have a taste of evil. The appearance of evil. Because God has created the darkness and the light. As it says in Isaiah, I, the Lord, create good and evil. But eventually we reach a point where we've had enough. We've had enough of playing this game. We've had enough of this illusion of separation. And there comes a time when we yearn to know our true nature, to return. In Genesis it says, God took the rib from Adam and created Eve. Eve came out of Adam. They were originally one single being made in God's likeness. The word God, Elohim, is plural. It really means gods. And what's more than that, it means gods and goddesses. It is both masculine and feminine. So within that term God used in the Old Testament in Genesis, it's talking about one as many, many as one, contained in the one being. Masculine and feminine contained in the one being. That's God's nature. And so for us to return to where we came from, we must enter into the sacred marriage. And this has been heavily spiritualized. This has been turned into something which is about just the sacred marriage within, the alchemical wedding within, merging the masculine and feminine within. But it's not just about that. Be wary of this spiritual bypassing, which would have you become a monk, which would have you walk off the path of the perfect matrimony. What I'm discovering is that the process of entering into sexual alchemy with my woman, entering into her like an alchemical laboratory, is meshing our souls together. I am absorbing her essence. She's just started to come back online. She's just started to open back to sex, getting those feelings of attraction, of desire for me. And we've been going there again and again, just lately. And I can feel my soul being stirred. No releasing. Taking it extremely slow. Like I'm entering into the Holy of Holies in my priestly garment. Entering into the dwelling place of the Most High, where two of you are gathered together. I am there. This is where I'm discovering the presence of God, brothers. I hear so many of you talking about, I'm not focused on women, I'm focused on God. But what if God hid himself in the merging, in the joining of masculine and feminine? You're searching for God out there. You're searching for God in the scriptures. You're searching for God in endless prayer. But God has hidden himself in the perfect matrimony, in the sacred joining of lingam and yoni as depicted to us through the ancient temple arts of Buddhism, Hinduism, Tantra, in the ancient depictions on the walls of the Aztec temples. There it is. Sacred sexuality, the rising serpent turning into the feathery serpent. It's all there on the wall art of the Egyptian hieroglyphs. The raising of the serpent, sacred sexuality. The pharaohs who were the rulers of the land, described as God on earth. Does that not sound to you like Christ? Depicted wearing headdresses with serpents coming out the top. The risen serpent of Kundalini. The very same serpent which Moses took into the courts of the corrupted Pharaoh The same serpent which ate up the serpents of the Pharaoh's corrupted magicians, who tried to intimidate Moses, who tried to nullify his message, who tried to denounce him as a prophet of the Most High God. They pulled out their staffs, turned them into serpents, demonstrating that they could perform the black ritual magic, also based on sex. This stuff runs extremely deep and very few are ready to look at it. And what did Moses do? He cast his rod onto the ground as God commanded him. It became a serpent, and it devoured the two serpents of Pharaoh's black magicians, because Moses was a white magician, trained in all of the magical arts of Egypt, raised in Pharaoh's household, who fled after killing one of the soldiers of Egypt, went into the desert. And what was the first thing he did when he came to Midian, the place that he lived for the next however many years? The first thing he did when he entered that land was he found his wife by the well, a shepherdess trying to water her flocks, being harassed by a group of men. Symbolism, brothers. What do we see in the modern age? We see women who have been turned into monsters, not out of their own choice, out of the way that we as men have failed to be men, have allowed ourselves to be corrupted, just like Pharaoh's court with his black magicians, have allowed ourselves to become rapacious, greedy, driven by lust. And what did Moses do? He sees this. And as a soldier of Egypt, as a man trained in warfare, he drove them away. He took this woman and made her his wife. He dove into the sacred alchemy. That's when he began his journey. And after years of practicing retention, practicing alchemy with his wife, sex without release, he was ready for the revelation. And so he wandered up to Mount Horeb. And there was revealed to him the I Am presence. His first major initiation into the gnosis, the knowledge of God. I am. Not you are God out there. What did God say his name was when Moses asked, "Who shall I say sent me?" I am. Direct knowledge of God. A direct result of practicing sexual alchemy. Moses was a retainer. But more than that, he was a magician. He performed wonders, or rather the I Am presence performed wonders through him. And when they finally took the Israelites out of Egypt and led them into the desert, and the Israelites angered God, the I Am presence, God sent pestilence among them, just like he did to the Egyptians, covered them in sores, sent serpents, fiery serpents among them, which bit them and poisoned them, killed many. Look at the symbolism. The Israelites turned back to the ways of Egypt, turned back to black magic, releasing the seed, the most sacred possession that man possesses is the seed. And Moses wanted to make them a nation of priests, prophets, and kings through the sacred art, the art that was lost at the fall of Atlantis, which also became corrupted by black magicians. But they rebelled, they were stubborn, they said, take us back to Egypt, take us back to the ways of the world, the inverted world, the corrupted world which seeks to drive down deeper into materiality, which seeks to exercise power over others through fear, through control, through domination, through black magic, through deception. That's the way of this world. And what did God say when all of the people were struck down with pestilence, disease, when they started to die in the desert? He said to Moses, create a bronze serpent. The bronze serpent is the rising serpent of Kundalini, the upward traveling serpent. God said, make a bronze serpent and lift it up before the people. And it shall be that everyone who gazes upon the bronze serpent, the risen Kundalini, will be healed from their affliction. And Christ said, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up as a ransom for many. Brothers, this is all occult symbolism, hidden. That is the meaning of occult, hidden knowledge. The Son of Man is the semen. You are man. Who is the Son of Man? Who is your son? It's your seed. You must lift up your seed up the tree, all the way to Golgotha, the place of the skull. That is where the Son of Man was lifted up as a ransom for many. When you lift up the Kundalini, when you lift up the seed, you transmute it up to the place of the skull, the Son of God is born. And he becomes a ransom for many. This cannot happen through semen retention alone. We must return to Eden the same way that we left it. We left Eden by eating of the forbidden fruit, the orgasm, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the only tree they were commanded not to eat the fruit of. They ate of the fruit. They ate their life force. They ate their seed. And they fell. So we must return to sex, to woman. We must bring back the rib that was taken out of us. Come back into wholeness. Come back into sexual relationship with the woman, the priestess. This multiplies the semen. Don't believe these videos telling you that sexual activity in and of itself is depriving your brain. Gonadal activity in and of itself is reducing your lifespan. Be very wary of these claims. Because when you engage in sexual activity only with a woman who is your wife, you have entered into a sacred covenant. And God blesses the perfect matrimony. God is in the perfect matrimony. And as you begin to perform alchemy with her, as you fire the clay in her oven again and again and again, your laboratory starts to multiply the semen. And as it multiplies, as the energy, the power multiplies, and it is not released through ejaculation, it begins its upward climb. This is the final yoga. Brothers, it's time for you to become a man. It's time for you to step into sacred marriage with your priestess. This isn't something that you do in 10 years when you're ready. This is what makes you ready to receive the kingdom. And if it's your time, you'll know, because your heart will be on fire right now.